teachings of Rabbi Ephraim Sprecher, Dean of Students at Diaspora Yeshiva on Mount Zion, Jerusalem.
Good afternoon. This week is a doubleheader, Behar-Bechukotai. What do they have in common, and how do they fit in with current events? The Parshat always speaks of current events. The Torah says, "Vaydaber Sheva Moshe Behar Sinai Lamor." The Torah introduces the laws of Shemitah that it was given in Har Sinai. So Rashi wonders, "My Inyan Shemitah is Har Sinai." What does Shemitah got to do with Har Sinai? All the mitzvahs were given in Har Sinai, not just Shemitah. So why connect the mitzvah of Shemitah to Har Sinai when all the other mitzvahs were also given in Har Sinai? The Rashi says that just like Shemitah, the mitzvah Shemitah, all of the generalization and all of the rules were given at Sinai. The rabbis didn't make it up. So all the rest of the mitzvahs, all the rules and all the details and all of the inyanim were all given at Sinai. Shemitah was given at Sinai with all of the details, and the other mitzvahs were also given at Sinai with all the details, all given by God at Har Sinai. So that just begs the question, why is Shemitah the symbol of all the other mitzvot? Why not Shabbat, Brit Milah, Yom Kippur? Why, Dafked, does the Torah say that Shemitah somehow captures the Har Sinai revelation more than any other mitzvah? Ma'anishtana Shemitah from all the mitzvahs. If you want to sum up the entire Har Sinai revelation, it's Shemitah more than any other mitzvah. Why? Well, one answer is as follows. We know that the 613 mitzvahs are divided into two categories. Ben Adam lamakam and Adam lechavero. A mitzvah is either between man and man or between man and God. All of the 613 mitzvahs fall into these two categories. It's either between man and God, like Shabbat, eating kosher, not wearing shatnez, not eating meat and milk together, blowing the shofar, sitting in a sukkah, eating matzah on Pesach. Those are laws between man and God. And there's also laws between man and man. Don't murder, don't swindle, don't steal, don't embezzle, don't commit adultery. That's laws between man and man. So a mitzvah is either or. Shemitah is unique. The Torah says in Vayikra 25, the Torah says Shemitah is Shabbat Lashem. It's the ultimate mitzvah between man and God. And then the Torah says Shabbat Lachem. On the other hand, Shemitah is the ultimate mitzvah between man and man. Why is that? The ultimate mitzvah between man and God is Shemitah. Shabbos, you can't work only one day. You close your store for one day. But here, Shemitah, the entire year. The farmer cannot work his field the entire year. How will he make parnasa? How will he feed his family? Shemitah is the ultimate Shabbat Lashem. It's the ultimate mitzvah between man and God, because more than any other mitzvah, it requires emunah bitachon, that despite the fact you can't work your field the entire year, you trust God, you have faith in Him that He won't let you starve. You'll be able to feed your family despite not working the whole year. So Shemitah is the ultimate mitzvah between man and God. It requires the most trust in God. In God we trust, all others pay cash. So it's that, ben odam lamakom, between man and God. On the other hand, it's lochem. It's the ultimate ben odam lechaveroi. Because the entire year your field is hefker, and the poor people come and eat your crops, and you cannot throw them out. So Shemitah captures the sign of revelation. It's the only mitzvah which is both. It's between man and God, where it requires the most trust, not just one day you can't work, a whole year. That's the ultimate between man and God. On the other hand, it's the ultimate between man and man, where an entire year your field is hefker, and the poor people come and eat your crops. It's the ultimate chesed. And therefore, Shemitah is both, Lashem and Lachem. And therefore, it sums up the Sinai revelation more than any other mitzvah because it's a twofer. It's the ultimate between man and God and the ultimate between man and man, where the entire year the poor people can come and take from your field and take your crops. And therefore, Shemitah is called the Sinai revelation, symbolizing the Sinai revelation more than any other mitzvah. Now, the Torah tells us about Shemitah. It says that 6 years. The Torah says, you come to the land of Israel, it's Vayikra 25, you come to the land of Israel, you shall observe the Shemitah for the 7 years. Then it says 6 years you shall work your field, and in the 7th year you shall observe the Shemitah. Six years you shall work your field, and the 7th year you shall observe the Shemitah. So the Chassam Sofer points out something amazing. He says that just like there's a mitzvah to observe the 7th year Shemitah, where the land lies fallow, there's also a mitzvah to work the land of Israel 6 years. The Torah connects it. The Torah connects it. The Torah says you shall observe Shabbat Lashem, the 7th year of Shemitah. And then the Torah says 6 years you shall work your field. And the 7th year of Shemitah. So the Torah is telling us, Chassam Sofer, that just like there's a mitzvah to observe Shemitah, there's also a mitzvah to observe, to work the field in Eretz Yisrael, working the land of Israel. Cultivating the holy soil is also a mitzvah. And therefore the Torah connects it. Observe Shemitah, but first work the land of Israel. That itself is a separate mitzvah. And therefore Chassam Sofer points out, Shavuos is around the corner, we read Megillat Ruth in Shavuot. And there it tells us that Boaz, the shofet, the chief rabbi, those days didn't have an Ashkenazi and Sephardi, they only had one chief rabbi. Boaz, the shofet of the generation, went to winnow the grain in his field. That's what the Navi says. Boaz, the chief rabbi, left his fancy chief rabbinate seat, and he went out into the field, it says, to winnow and work the field. Now we know Tanakh is not a history book. Tanakh is God's authorized manual for living in the year 2020. Why does the Navi have to tell us that 3,000 years ago, Boaz, the chief judge, went out to work his field? Who cares? It's not a history book, it's GPS. But today, says Chassam Sofer, to teach that working the land of Israel is a mitzvah. Otherwise, Boaz, he had many assistants. He was a busy man, Paskin Mishailis, studying and teaching. He could have sent one of his disciples to go winnow the grain in his field, the 5 types of grain. Why does the Navi say that he personally went out into his field to winnow the grain and thresh the grain? Why is that important? So Chassam Sofer, this is our message, that working the land of Israel is a mitzvah. And therefore, the chief rabbi, the chief judge, Boaz, personally, despite having many disciples and many assistants, personally went to work the field himself, demonstrating the awesome privilege of working the holy soil. The holy kibbutznikim, any person that works in the land of Israel, is doing a mitzvah. As it says in Mikra 25, verse 3, 6 years you shall plow and plant and cultivate the holy soil. And then the 7th year, observe Shemitah. So just like there's a mitzvah to observe Shemitah, there's a mitzvah to work the first 6 years as well. Another reason why Shemitah sums up the Har Sinai experience more than any other mitzvah. The Torah says in Yikra 25:20, the person will say, the farmer will say, what will we eat in the seventh year? We didn't plant, we didn't sow, we didn't gather our crops. What will we eat the seventh year? The Torah says in Yikra 25:21, God says, I will command my blessing. On the sixth year, you will have a bumper crop, a bull market, to carry you through to 6, 7, into the 8th year. Don't worry, Hashem says, trust me. This proves the Har Sinai revelation. If a human being gave the Torah, he could never make such a ridiculous claim. He'd be laughed out of town on a rail. Observe, Shemitah, you can ask me, how will I survive the 7th year when it didn't work? How will I feed my family? The Torah says, I will command my blessing on the 6th year to carry you through 6, 7, into the 8th year. This proves Har Sinai revelation by God, because no human being could make such a claim. And therefore, Shemitah symbolizes that God gave us the Torah. Only God can make a claim like that. Trust me. Not only will you have enough to eat 1 year, but you'll have a bumper crop 6, 7, carry you through the 6th year. There'll be so much grain, so much produce to carry you through from the 6th, 7th into the 8th year as well. And therefore, Shemitah symbolizes the Har Sinai revelation that no human being could dare make such a claim. He'd be laughed out of town. Then the next Parshat is Bechukotai. If you walk in my laws, I will give you rain in the season. You'll have a bumper crop. Things will go well. The Torah makes an amazing statement by Yikra 26:8. 5 holy soldiers of the IDF will capture 100 of the enemy. And 100 of you will capture 10,000. And the enemy will fall in front of you. That's Yikra 26:8. 100 of the IDF soldiers, in such a miracle, will capture and conquer 10,000 of the enemy. Tremendous miracle, right? Stay tuned. This parsha is always read around Yom Yerushalayim, which is coming up. This parsha Bechukotai is always read when the 6-day war broke out. And the Torah is predicting an incredible miracle. In the 6-day war, was it 100 IDF soldiers who captured 10,000 of the enemy? It was more. You can Google this. Rabbi Shlomo Goren Zatzal and his driver captured the whole city of Hebron. Not 100 IDF soldiers captured 10,000. This is Rabbi Goren and his driver. You can Google this. Captured not 10,000. They captured personally the whole city of Hebron, which at that time had over 38,000 people. 2 captured 38,000. An even bigger miracle than stated in the Parsha of the week. Goren drove up with his driver, holding a Sefer Torah. And all of a sudden, the Arabs took out their white bed sheets and began flapping it in the wind. Incredible. They were fearful. This old rabbi holding a Sefer Torah and his driver with a machine gun. 2, this is the city of Hebron with the worst terrorists. All of a sudden, they began waving their white bed sheets. So Rabbi Goren calls up Yitzchak Rabin, the chief of the IDF at the time, says, come quick, send a battalion. I just captured the whole city of Hebron for you. Me and my driver. Say what? A bigger miracle than stated in the Parsha of the week. With the Parsha of the week, Yikra 26:8 says 100 IDF soldiers will capture 10,000. But God says, I'll show you a bigger miracle in the 6-day war. 2. The chief chaplain of the IDF and his driver in a jeep captured the whole city of Hebron, which at that time was 38,000 people. What a miracle. Now, the Parsha of the week always anticipate current events. Just incredible. It's just mind-boggling. Now, the Torah was given on Har Sinai, Behar. Actually, Behar. Why was the Torah given on a mountain? Why? We all have to be spiritual mountain climbers. All of us. We have to climb our personal mountain to greatness, step by step. All of us have our own mountain to climb. Some have a bigger mountain than others. Some have bigger challenges than others. But all of us in life have challenges besides the challenge of Corona in our personal issues and personal problems. All of us must be a spiritual mountain climber in order to attain our tafkid in life. Now, the Torah tells us in Vayikra 26:46, these are the laws and the Torot that God gave between him and us on Har Sinai b'yad Moshe. These are the laws and the Torot that Hashem gave to Bnei Israel and Har Sinai b'yad Moshe. So Rashi says, I thought we only got one Torah. How come Vayikra 26:46 says God gave us Torot? It should be Torah. We got one Torah at Har Sinai, didn't we? How come it says Torot in the plural? Says Rashi, Achad b'ksav v'achad bal peh. It's written Torot in the plural, one the written and one the oral. Magid shekulam nitnu Moshe Sinai. To teach that God gave us not one Torah on Sinai, he gave us Torot, the written and the oral. Therefore, it's Torot and not Torah, the Har Sinai b'yad Moshe. So why did God give us two Torahs? Why wasn't one enough? Well, the Midrash tells us, in Zois HaBracha, before God gave us the Torah, he went to the United Nations and to the EU. He went trying to sell the Torah. And all the nations turned him down. Who's the most rejected figure in the Bible? Kaviyach HaKadosh Baruch Hu. The Medrash tells us in Zois HaBracha, Medrash Rabbah, that God went to the 70 nations of the United Nations, offering them the Torah. And he was rejected not once, but 70 times. He was rejected. So God knew they would reject him and the Torah. Why did he bother to ask them? To teach, if at first you don't succeed, try again. Kadosh Baruch Hu, Kaviyach Hu, went knowing that nations of the world would reject him, to teach us if you're rejected, don't take it too hard. Don't give up. Keep on trucking. If you don't succeed at first, keep trying. God tried 70 times, and he was rejected, and then he came to us to teach that don't take rejection so hard. Eventually you'll get the right one. So Kadosh Baruch Hu finally came to Am Yisrael, and after being rejected 70 times, and he says to them, Am Yisrael, I have something good to offer you. What's the first question a Jew asks when he's made an offer? He asks, how much does it cost? Well, God said, it's free. The Jew said, well, if it's free, we'll take two. And God said, you got it. It's free, we're going to take two, and therefore he gave us the written, and he also gave us the oral. And therefore it's Torah, not Torah. Now the Haftorah, amazing, the Haftorah of Parshat Bechukotai, from the book of Yecheskel, again, current events, this Parshat, Bechukotai, is always read between Yom Atzmaot and Yom Yerushalayim. Kawiki Dinky, this Haftorah, Yecheskel 34, Haftorah Bechukotai, we're going to read this Shabbat, is always read between Yom Atzmaot and Yom Yerushalayim. Current events, look what God tells him. Yecheskel 34. this coming up Torah. The trees of the field will give wondrous fruit. And the earth will yield a tremendous produce. And you will dwell in your land in safety. Wow. The most dazzling display of luscious and colorful fruits go to Machne Yehuda. This prophecy is being fulfilled in our time. Yechezkel 34. God says, I will give you a dazzling display of luscious and colorful fruits and produce. Eretz Yisrael, the startup nation. Every invention. High-tech miracles developed by Israel. It's a Kiddush Hashem. We invented the cherry tomato. From drip irrigation to cybersecurity, from waste to wicks, Israel has advanced the cause of humanity in quantum leaps that brings the world to belief in HaKadosh Baruch Hu. The Nasan Eitz HaSadet Period, Lord Titin Yivula, this week's Torah. When Yechezkel said this, the land was in ruins. There was the Churban. Speaking about our time, now, right before Yom Yerushalayim, the great miracle of the 6-day war. Israel. Little Israel. Remember that bumper sticker? America, don't worry, Israel is behind you. It's a Kiddush Hashem. Every invention that Israel invents, the startup nation, the high tech, how we advance the cause of humanity. When there's an earthquake anywhere in the world, who's there as a first response team? It's little Israel. Little Israel is making a Kiddush Hashem every single day. Every single day. And Baruch Hashem, we are privileged to live here. And all the Jews are all over the world. It's time to come home. Israel is the safest country to be, by far, against the coronavirus. Because Israel has hashgacha protiyos more than any other nation. Over here, it's a local call. God is entirely focused on the land of Israel. The Vilna Gaon makes an amazing statement. You make a bracha, hamotzi lechem min haaretz. God brings forth bread from the land. According to Ulpan Digdok, it should be hamotzi lechem min ha'adama. The bracha should be hamotzi lechem min ha'adama. God brings forth bread from the earth. Why hamotzi lechem min haaretz? God brings forth bread from the land. Doesn't God bring forth bread min ha'adama? Why Aretz? Says the Vilna Gaon, something incredible. If people are eating bread in the rest of the world, it's only the schus of Aretz. Hamotzi lechem min Aretz. God brings forth bread from the land of Israel. And through the schus of the land of Israel, it trickles down. The rest of the world gets their bread. It's not a motzi lechem in adama. God is a motzi lechem in haaretz. God blesses the land of Israel, and from there, the rest of the world gets their blessing. Even eating bread all over the world is only the schus of haaretz, Eretz HaKodesh. So all blessings in the world only come through and because of Eretz Yisrael. And that's what HaKadosh Baruch Hu told Avram Avinu. HaKadosh Baruch Hu told Avram Avinu in Parshat Lech Lecha, an amazing statement. In Parshat Lech Lecha, God says, I'm going to make you the father of a nation, the father of a nation in the country. that you will be the source of blessing. All blessing. In Parshat Lech Lecha, Genesis 12. God told Abraham, you are going to be the founding father of a people and a nation, that all blessing in the world will only come through your people living in Eretz Yisrael. Am Yisrael and Eretz Yisrael. Bereshit 12, verse 3. Through you, Abraham, and your nation Israel, all the families of the earth will be blessed. All bracha comes through people of Israel in the land of Israel. That's what God told Abraham in Genesis 12. Thank you and Shabbat Shalom.
For more of Rabbi Sprecher's teachings, visit rabbisprecher.com.